The question is how much damage he will do to national security before he leaves. And David, I'll add just personal knowledge of Donald Trump. He doesn't keep secrets. He can't. He doesn't know how. He loves to sort of revel in knowing things and sharing what he knows behind the scenes and passing it along. How much of a danger does his post-presidency pose, given that part of his personality, which seems to be, 100% undisciplined? Okay, we need audio. We need audio for the answer. All right, we'll wait on David Ignatius and move on now to Sam Stein. Sam, what's your take on, first of all, this behavior in general?
Well, it's erratic, obviously. It's, a tantrum being thrown by a 74-year-old man. But this is sort of what we've come to expect with Trump at this point, right? I think people can kind of dismiss it as, well, he'll eventually leave. You just got to wait it out. You got to let him get it out of the system. But as David's column illustrates, and as our reporting illustrates, there are tangible, real-life impacts here. I mean, my colleague Aaron Banco talked to members of Trump's own coronavirus task force who said the longer that we wait on doing a normal transition, the worse the pandemic will get and the harder it will be for Joe Biden's team to actually come up with a viable, effective vaccine distribution plan. So more people are going to die because of this. I mean, that's just to put it bluntly. And I think people need to realize the costs that are associated with this. When the 9/11 Commission looked at the failures of the government to predict what was going to happen in September 2001, one of the things that they pointed to was the fact that the transition between Bill Clinton and George W. Bush was delayed because of the Florida recount. There just wasn't enough time to do the preparatory work that was needed to get people up to speed to fill those holes. So, yes, it's what was Joe's term? Opera of the absurd, theater opera,
shock opera,
whatever. A shock opera. I agree with that term. Joe is very right. But it's a shock opera with really bad consequences. And I do think one last thing is you're seeing a lot of hot potato among Republicans here. No one wants to step in and say, okay, it's over. I mean, the campaign is asking Bill Barr to find material to help him out. Bill Barr is going to U.S. attorney saying, help me find material. The campaign's asking the courts. The court's saying, no, come back with something tangible. Republicans in Congress are bucking it and saying, no, the courts need to decide. At some point, someone needs to just interject and say, enough, this is over. The problem is there's no fortitude on the Republican side to do that.
Well, the shock opera is absolutely exhausting, but I think it continues. David Ignatius, I think we have you back right now. And forget, what Fox or Facebook is screaming and blaring, trying to sort of get involved in some inappropriate way to, prop up Trump's pathetic, petering to the end. But it's the danger that you write about. And I'd like to add to it that I do think that this president, this man, has the ability, not just the ability, but the number one sole focus to use everything that he has in his possession for his financial gain. So it's not just sharing information right now with the Biden team and creating a proper transition, which should be happening. And thank God Joe Biden knows where the bathroom is. He knows where, all the everything is, how the White House works. A transition will not be as difficult for a Joe Biden. But when it comes to classified information and relationships with foreign adversaries and friends and conversations that need to be had, this is dangerous. And I worry Donald Trump takes information out of the White House. And I don't know if we've ever seen someone who wants to abuse information that he took in while in office, but he will. Okay, we lost him again. This is like one of the most critical questions, by the way, facing our country. And David Ignatius is like the foremost person who can really talk about it. So we will get his audio back come hell or high water, Willie Geist. And again, yes, I'll just say that Donald Trump has access to everything. And when he leaves, he continues to have a great deal of information that he could use to his benefit. And his personality has shown that he doesn't have a lot of discipline beyond using information or people or relationships to his financial gain. It's always about the money. You follow the money, you end up with what the answer is to the question, what's with Russia? You look at Turkey. You look at his relationship in Saudi Arabia and how he handled everything. It's all leading to potential past financial transactions that might have been stopped, that never came to fruition, or future financial transactions. And I worry this president will have quite a party with all of this information that he learned as president when he leaves office. That is, unless, Willie, certain sections of law enforcement come after him.
Yeah, he could find himself in any number of courts. But I think you're right to go back to his pre-presidency and his personality, which is that he likes to be the guy with the information. It was gossip back then. Now it's national security secrets. I mean, go back to a couple of years ago, sitting out on that patio at Mar-a-Lago with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan when the news of a North Korean missile test came out. And he couldn't hide his glee in being able to share that with not just with the prime minister, but with the membership dining at tables around him. So, yeah, you're right to be worried about that. And Casey Hunt, as you cover Congress, we heard from James Lankford.